For a long time, I believed the goal was to find a calm sea. I spent my life searching for it. I thought if I could just navigate perfectly, if I could just read the weather charts correctly, if I could just become a good enough sailor, I could avoid the storms. I believed the chaos was a personal failure. My inner world was a reflection of the outer world. A kind word from someone was a sunny day, and my sails would fill with joy. A piece of bad news, a criticism, a disappointment. That was a squall that would appear without warning, drenching me in fear and anxiety, throwing me completely off course. I was a ship without an anchor, and the ocean was my master. I would spend days, weeks, just reacting to the shifting winds of other people's moods, reacting to the sudden storms of professional setbacks, reacting to the chilling currents of my own self-doubt. My energy was spent entirely on managing the boat, patching the leaks, manning the sails, bailing out the water that was constantly crashing over the sides. There was no time to actually steer, to actually choose a destination. The journey was just survival. And the most exhausting part, I thought everyone else had found their calm sea. I would look at other ships on the horizon, seemingly steady, and I would think, what do they know that I don't? This belief that the storm was my fault, and that stillness was somewhere out there to be found, that was the heaviest weight of all. It was the chain I wrapped around myself, long before the storm even hit. So I fought. Oh, how I fought. I tried to master the storm itself. When a wave of anger would rise, I would try to smash it down, to force it into submission. I would meet its fury with my own, clenching my jaw, tensing my muscles, believing I could conquer it through sheer force of will. But you cannot fight a wave. It simply breaks over you, leaving you breathless and weaker than before. When the thick fog of sadness would roll in, I would try to outrun it. I would turn on all the lights, fill my life with noise and distraction, trying to pretend the fog wasn't there. But you cannot outrun the fog. It seeps into everything. It finds every crack until you are lost within it, unable to see an inch in front of your face. I exhausted myself in this battle. I blamed the wind for blowing. I cursed the rain for falling. I resented the ocean for being what it is, wild, unpredictable, and powerful. My focus was entirely external. I was trying to change the fundamental nature of reality, and it was breaking me. The lesson, learned through the bitter taste of salt water and exhaustion, was this. The storm is not personal. It does not seek you out. The waves do not have your name on them. They just are. The world will always produce storms. People will be unpredictable. Disappointment will happen. Loss is a part of the contract of a meaningful life. The one variable you have any control over is not the sea. It's the ship. And in that moment of surrender, when I finally stopped fighting the waves, I discovered something. Something that had been there all along, buried beneath the frantic activity and the desperate need for control. I found my anchor. It wasn't shiny. It wasn't a magical solution that made the storm disappear. It was heavy. It was old. It was made of the very things I had been running from. What is this anchor? It is your core. It is the part of you that does not change with the weather. It is the collection of your deepest, non-negotiable values. It is your sense of purpose, however small it may feel. It is your integrity. It is the promises you make to yourself and keep. I learned that emotional stability isn't about building higher walls on the deck to keep the water out. It's about dropping a heavy anchor deep, deep down into the seabed, far below the turbulent surface. The work, I realized, was not to fight the waves. The work was to build the anchor. And how do you do that? You don't find it. You forge it. You forge it every time you choose to act from a place of your values instead of a place of your fear. You forge it every time you feel the sting of criticism, and instead of lashing out, you take a breath and ask yourself, is there any truth here I can learn from? That's adding weight to the anchor. You forge it every time you feel the chill of disappointment, and instead of falling into despair, you allow yourself to feel the sadness, and then you ask, what is my next right move? That's adding another link to the chain. You forge it every time you are tempted to blame the world, and instead you turn inward and ask, what part of this is my responsibility? What is within my power to change? The anchor is built in the quiet moments of conscious choice. It is the commitment to being honest with yourself. It is the courage to sit with discomfort without immediately needing to numb it or fix it. It is the quiet practice of becoming your own source of validation, your own source of safety. And here is the final, most important lesson the sea taught me. The goal was never to find a calm sea. The goal was to become a ship that could weather any storm. When your anchor is set deep, the storm doesn't disappear. You still feel the wind. You still feel the spray on your face. You still rise and fall with the rhythm of the waves. You feel the emotions fully, but you are no longer at their mercy. The anger, the fear, the grief, they become weather patterns passing through, while your core, your anchor, holds you fast to who you are. You learn to respect the power of the ocean, but you are no longer terrified by it. You learn the art of weathering. You learn that your stability does not come from the absence of chaos, but from the presence of a deep, internal connection to your own center. So stop trying to predict the weather. Stop praying for a calm sea. The storms will come. That is the nature of life. Instead, turn your attention inward. Pick up your tools. Do the hard, quiet work of forging your anchor. Tend to your integrity. Clarify your values. Make and keep promises to yourself. Because a ship that is anchored deep can handle any wave, any wind, any storm. It can rise and fall, but it will not be broken. It will not be lost. It will hold. So the next time you feel the wind start to howl and the sea begin to churn, your first instinct will be to look at the horizon in fear. Resist it. Instead, look inward. Put a hand on that anchor chain and feel its weight, its strength. That's the only forecast that truly matters. Trust your anchor, and you can trust yourself to get through anything. I'll see you out on the water.